You just said a moment ago that science and evidence should control, not politics. So let's just test that proposition. Can men get pregnant?
I take care of people with many identities, but
Can men get pregnant?
many women that can get pregnant. I do take care of people that don't identify as women.
Can men get pregnant?
Again, as I'm saying,
Let me just.
If you believe America needs more leaders willing to ask tough questions instead of accepting political talking points, then you're in the right place. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications because today we're breaking down a Senate hearing that has millions of Americans talking. Senator Josh Hawley asked what many consider one of the simplest biological questions imaginable, yet the answer he received sparked a heated debate over science, politics, and common sense.
Let me just remind you what you testified to a moment ago. Science and evidence should control, not politics. So can men get pregnant? You're a doctor, I think.
Science and evidence should guide medicine.
Do science and evidence tell us that men can get pregnant? Biological men, can they get pregnant?
I also think yes/no questions like this are a political tool. And
No, yes/no questions are about the truth, doctor. Let's not make a mockery of this proceeding. This is about science and evidence, and I'm asking you.
Senator Josh Hawley challenged Dr. VERMA during a Senate hearing by repeatedly asking whether men can get pregnant. The exchange quickly became one of the most talked about moments of the hearing, touching on biology, gender identity, medical testimony, abortion policy, and constitutional issues. In this video, we break down the hearing, explain both perspectives presented during the exchange, and discuss why the debate continues to influence American politics and public policy. If you enjoy political news, congressional hearing analysis, and in-depth commentary, be sure to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Since you bring it up, why don't we just start there? Dr. VERMA, I wasn't sure I understood your answer to Senator Moody a moment ago. Do you think that men can get pregnant?
I hesitated there because I wasn't sure where the conversation was going or what the goal was. I mean, I do take care of patients with different identities. I take care of many women. I take care of people with different identities. And so that's where I paused. I think, yeah, I wasn't sure where you were going with that.
Well, the goal is just the truth. So can men get pregnant?
Again, the reason I paused there is I'm not really sure what the goal of the question is.
The goal is just to establish a biological reality. You just said a moment ago that science and evidence should control, not politics. So let's just test that proposition. Can men get pregnant?
I take care of people with many identities, but
can men get pregnant?
Many women that can get pregnant. I do take care of people that don't identify as women.
Can men get pregnant?
Again, as I'm saying,
let me just remind you what you testified to a moment ago. Science and evidence should control, not politics. So can men get pregnant? You're a doctor, I think.
Science and evidence should guide medicine.
Do science and evidence tell us that men can get pregnant? Biological men, can they get pregnant?
I also think yes/no questions like this are a political tool. And
no, yes/no questions are about the truth, doctor. Let's not make a mockery of this proceeding. This is about science and evidence, and I'm asking you. The United States Supreme Court just heard arguments yesterday at great length on this question. This is not a hypothetical question. This is not theoretical. It affects real people in their real lives. And you're here as an expert, called by the other side as an expert. And you've been telling us that you follow, right, you're a doctor, and you follow the science and the evidence. So I just want to know, based on the science, can men get pregnant? That's a yes or no question. It really is, I think.
I think you're trying to reduce the complexity of a lot.
I'm not. I'm trying to get, it's not complex. I'm trying to get to an answer, and I'm trying to test, frankly, your veracity as a medical professional and as a scientist. Can men get pregnant?
I think you're also conflating male and female with...
No, I'm not conflating male and female. They're two different things. There's biological men and there's biological women. And I want to know, can men get pregnant?
What you were talking about is biological...
You're not going to answer my question.
Biological males.
This isn't hard, doctor. Can men get pregnant? Yes or no?
Again, I would be more than happy to have a conversation with you that is not coming from a place of trying to be polarized and push.
I'm not trying to be polarizing. I'm trying to ask, I think it is extraordinary that we are here in a hearing about science and about women. And for the record, it's women who get pregnant, not men.
It also,
We are here about the safety of women and science that shows that this abortion drug causes adverse health events in 11% of cases. That's 22 times greater than the FDA label, another fact you haven't acknowledged, and yet you won't even acknowledge the basic reality that biological men don't get pregnant. There's a difference between biological men and biological women. I don't know how we can take you seriously and your claims to be a person of science if you won't level with this on this basic issue. I thought we were past all of this, frankly. I can't believe we're still here talking about this.
I am a person of science, and I'm also someone here who's here to represent the complex experiences of my patients, and I don't think polarized language or questions serve that goal. I don't think they serve the American people.
It is not polarizing to say
are
that there
not-
is a scientific difference between men and women, and I want this to be clear and for the record. It is not polarizing to say that women are a biological reality and should be treated and protected as such. That is not polarizing, that is truth. It is also, by the way, the United States Constitution, which offers unique protections to women in a variety of circumstances as women. And your refusal to recognize women as women and men as men is deeply corrosive to science, to public trust, and yes, to constitutional protections for women as women. And I think it's extraordinary that you would sit here and advance a political agenda.
One of the biggest debates in America today isn't just about policy. It's about whether people are still willing to acknowledge basic biological facts. During this Senate hearing, Senator Josh Hawley repeatedly asked Dr. Varma what he described as a straightforward scientific question: can men get pregnant? Instead of receiving a simple yes or no answer, the discussion quickly turned into a lengthy exchange about gender identity, patient experiences, and political language. Dr. Varma explained that she treats patients with many different identities and argued that the question oversimplified a complex issue. She suggested that yes or no questions like this are often used as political tools and believed the discussion needed more nuance. Senator Hawley disagreed. His position throughout the hearing was that science should not depend on politics or ideology. He repeatedly argued that biological men and biological women are different and that only women become pregnant. Hawley emphasized that if medical experts testify before Congress claiming to follow science and evidence, they should be willing to answer basic biological questions directly. As the exchange continued, the tension inside the hearing room became obvious. Every time Hawley repeated the question, Dr. Varma responded by discussing patient identities and the complexity of gender rather than giving the direct answer Hawley was requesting. Hawley argued that the hearing was not about politics, but about establishing scientific reality. He also referenced arguments recently heard before the United States Supreme Court, saying these questions are no longer theoretical because they affect laws, public policy, and constitutional protections. Another issue raised during the hearing involved abortion medication. Hawley cited research claiming higher rates of adverse health events than what appears on FDA labeling, arguing that policymakers should carefully examine available evidence. Supporters of Hawley's approach say he exposed what they view as an unwillingness among some experts to clearly state biological facts when those facts have become politically controversial. Critics, however, argue that discussions involving transgender individuals require additional context and cannot always be reduced to simple yes or no answers. Regardless of where someone stands politically, this hearing demonstrates just how divided the country has become over questions involving biology, gender identity, medicine, and